My comrades. No, today's a serious day. My sacred hordes of the unyielding. Yep, that's better. What is the purpose of visions? You know, it seems like people have adopted many different terrifying interpretations of what visions really are. I've heard such horrifying statements like, they're meant to watch people, monitor them, Big Brother style. In Chinese, visions does in fact translate to eye of God. Cool. If you believe this, let me ask you something. Why? Why would the heavenly principles do this? Now, I'm being a bit dishonest with that question. I think I could come up with, some different reasons. One might want mass surveillance. I mean, whether or not they're valid is a whole other topic, but I could come up with some reasons. What I'm actually referring to in that question is the timing, because visions have not been here since the beginning. In fact, it could very well be that humanity has existed longer without visions than with visions, because visions require an archon to have authority over the elements, and the Archon War only ended 2,000 years ago. This should also be around the time visions started appearing all over Teyvat. This remade Teyvat is a rather young world. My best guess is it's less than or equal to about 10,000 years old. If I was a responsible and, caring individual, I would explain how I got to that answer. But guys, please, let's all take a knee here and just trust me. Regardless, age aside, that is not something you want clipped out of context. The point I'm trying to make is humanity existed longer without visions than with. So why suddenly start this mass surveillance some 2,000 years ago at the end of the Archon War? Furthermore, only a small population have visions. A very, very small population. This wouldn't even be mass surveillance. This would be fucking Menos surveillance. You're like watching an nth of a percent of the total population. What we really should be looking at here with regards to visions are their origins and purpose. What do I mean? Well, these two concepts are actually very related. Well, naturally, they were created at a point for a reason, but what's the reason? To the more credulous among us, we might trust Venti's description of the visions simply exist to channel elemental energy.
As you know, visions are external magical foci that only a small minority of people possess. They use these visions to channel elemental power. In truth, every wielder of a vision is one who can attain godhood and ascend to Celestia. We call such people allogenes.
An interesting description, Venti. Not entirely inaccurate, but also not really what we're looking for. To be fair, though, if I asked someone what a sword is, I wouldn't expect them to bust into a song and dance about the lore of swords in human history. So we must provide the context ourselves, and to do that, we need to understand the purpose of elemental energy. Yehuda bitch, take it away.
Phlogiston is Teyvat's primordial form of energy. The heavenly principles used phlogiston as a basis for the creation of elemental energy, to develop a power to better counter the abyss.
Now, to me, what this statement implies is that when elemental energy existed as phlogiston, it could only be controlled by inhabitants for the light realm, so just the bishops. The reason I think this is because why else would you need to recreate it? If it already existed as phlogiston, then surely you just, alright, humanity, here you fucking go. But the fact that elemental energy was created using phlogiston as a basis screams something weird is going on here. It seems like originally elemental energy only existed as phlogiston. This didn't seem to be a problem at first for the heavenly principles, but then something happened. A certain crackhead raced back to Teyvat at moderately slow speed, souped up on crack for dragons, forbidden knowledge, and incited a cataclysmic war that allowed the abyss to run rampant all over Teyvat. Several things would then happen. First, it would seem those heaven-sent divine fucking nails would come down to heal a broken world. Quote, but in time, invaders descended from beyond the firmament, bringing with them destruction, overturning rivers, spreading plagues. And though the invaders brought war to my former kin, they also brought about illusions that could break through the shackles to the land. but the master of the heavens, consumed by fear for the rising tide of delusion and breakthroughs, sent down the divine nails to mend the land. I'm suddenly illiterate, I guess. However, because the sovereign of sovereigns was severely wounded in this war and could no longer wield its absolute authority, it would create the Gnoses. Quote, severely wounded in the great war of vengeance, the usurper had their functions ruined and could no longer use their absolute authority to suppress the original order of this world. To continue to subdue and control the resentments and loathing of the worlds, the usurper and one who came after created the Gnoses together, so it came to be that an order was made to be upheld, and thus did humans come to only possess these 7 remembrances, and all fragments of the primordial were driven to devour each other. You'll notice in this paragraph, it states only after the creation of the Gnoses were humans able to, quote, possess these 7 remembrances. If this is referring to the 7 elements or the Gnoses, I mean, remembrances, you know, it took a dead nigga to fucking create the Gnoses, so maybe just here, it's a remember that one dead nigga. That means at this point, elemental energy was created, because gods, despite their divine nature, still belong to the human realm just the same as any other mortal, and for them to wield elemental energy, I'd imagine it needs to exist in a form in which they can control it. This idea of taking something from the light realm and converting it to something usable for the human realm isn't unheard of, because it's already been done. It's the sole purpose of the coral butterflies, who were called destroyers of the old worlds and would convert the rampaging elemental energies of an area before moving on to the next. So, I ask again, what's the purpose of visions? Let me tell you a story, my friends. Long ago, humanity lived in a state of bliss under the watchful eye of the heavenly principles. Their existence was a harmony of balance and lights, but one fateful day, a crackhead fell from the sky and ruined everything. I must defend my feeble sacred creations, no matter the cost, said the heavenly principles, but this was no ordinary invasion by the crackhead. It was an assault involving the abyss. The abyss raged like a tempest, consuming everything in its path. A chaotic force determined to obliterate the world of teyvat. This crackhead would then thankfully die, but the abyss remained, ruining the land, threatening the very world itself. So the heavenly principles came up with a plan. They created, then sent down divine nails to cleanse the land of this filth. Yet, as the abyss wreaked havoc, the heavenly principles themselves were severely wounded. In this moment of vulnerability, they knew they had to act quickly. Not only did they need to continue to fight the abyss now and in the future, but they also had to preserve this new world and keep down the old world. Their solution? Elemental energy. It currently only exists as phlogiston in the light realm for the bishops, incompatible with the humans in the human realm, but this is the heavenly principles we're talking about here, capable of any and everything. With a mere flick of its wrist, it transformed phlogiston into elemental energy, a gift for humanity. Yet, how could this power be bestowed upon the lands? This thought lingered like a whisper in a wind. You can't just give it all at once. It would be chaos down there, the heavenly principles thought to itself. Then, an idea suddenly went off. Chaos. Chaos is nice. Controlled chaos it is, then. Thus, it's devised a grand challenge. 7 divine thrones would emerge in Celestia, each offering authority of the elements to the most worthy of the gods. The competition would be fierce, and only those who clawed their way to the very top, that island in the sky, would be granted a Gnosis, the embodiment of elemental power. However, there was a catch. This power was not to be hoarded. Every so often, the authority of an element would be shared with the denizens of the human realm in the form of visions. What a brilliant plan, the heavenly principles thought to itself. And thus, the stage was set for an epic war. An archon war. A battle that would determine not only the champions, but the fate of Teyvat itself. God bless Phanes!